There are three major things you should have learned from these last two One Piece chapters. One, Oda takes absolutely no time to hype up a character. If he really wants to put you on a certain level of status, 2 chapters is really all he needs, because while most people won't look as good as Xebec, it does not take that much work. That's why Dragon and Mihawk fans, be patient. It will not take any time for Oda to shut up all the naysayers. More on that later. 2, admirals are bombs. I'm sorry. Off screen, he got CPR, best dogs in the world. It did not matter. He got cooked so bad. Oh my God, that's actually hilarious. 3, the swordsmanship debate is finished. But how? I don't know. Let's talk. So here's the thing. As fans, we have to understand that if Oda wants to hype up a character, he will hype up a character. And it does not take any time for him to sway how the fan base feels about someone. 2 chapters. Nobody ever thought Xebec was, well, okay, there was a loud portion of people that thought Xebec would be like Buggy, where he was not really strong, but he was like tricking people into following him or whatever. I never agreed with that, and I'm glad it was debunked. Hopefully we can put an end to a lot of these Buggy agendas I've been seeing, JJ. But regardless, I think that Oda showed us like, hey, 2 chapters is all I need. This dude right now has been hyped to look like one of the biggest monsters in the world. And like, I see a lot of the death jokes about Dragon and a lot of the black paint or whatever jokes about Mihawk. And I need y'all to understand that all it takes is 2 chapters for Oda to fix everything how people feel about Dragon and Mihawk, whether it's deserved or not. I don't think it's deserved, especially for Dragon. Y'all be wildin'. And this is why Oda leaves his past ambiguous, because he wants to be able to pull stuff from the past to hype up the characters. We don't know of a long lineage of admirals, because if we did, and he made that, he would have shoehorned himself into not being able to just pull a random admiral out that got cooked and couldn't even get chest compression to get saved. And the whole, hey, that's wild, bro. Come on, that is actually hilarious, man. He absolutely fried him, bro. I might just keep going back to this video. But speaking of that, what does this mean for the Admiral agenda, right? Because people are overreacting, and I probably am too. Like, does it completely ruin the status of admirals, or does it not mean anything at all? I think the truth is always somewhere in between. Whenever you see 2 agendas, right? Let's take Sanji and Zoro, for example. One side saying Zoro is equal to Luffy, other side saying he's equal to Sanji. The truth is always in the middle. Okay, he is stronger than Sanji, but weaker than Luffy. Now, the gap is a debate, and whatever, we're not talking about that in this video. But the same goes for this Admiral stuff. I don't think that you can just completely ruin the Admiral's rep because he lost to Rocks Xebec, even though he was a rookie pirate that didn't have a bounty yet. But at the same time, a lot of people trying to say like, oh, you see what happens? You kill an Admiral and you become a legend. Like, relax, bruh. This man made it all the way to the throne room. He kidnapped 5 kings. He clashed with Harold, helped him escape. Like, him beating the Admiral was off screen, and it felt like a footnote of all the crazy shit he did that day. So like, let's stop trying to make it like that's Admiral hype. That's bogus. Y'all be wild. I'll tell you, Admiral fans are the most creative excuse makers out of any agenda in One Piece. They will find a way to make it seem like the admirals look good no matter what happened. You can see someone get paralyzed from hundreds of miles away by somebody else's haki. I don't think that's ever happened in the story, but it might. Who knows? But you can see that happen, and they will find a way to make it seem not that bad. It's wild as shit. I love it. I really don't. Y'all know it, but whatever. Anyway, now let's talk about this swordsmanship stuff, because that's actually the biggest conversation to leave this chapter. For some strange reason, that's actually can't escape agenda, obviously. I don't think that this chapter really does anything for the whole Mihawk versus Shanks debate. Is he a swordsman? Is he not? Listen, guys, Shanks is a swordsman. The minute we accept that, and I mean, not we, but you know, Shanks fans accept that and stop trying to separate it from him, is the minute that a lot of these silly arguments cease to exist. But, and there's a very important but here, Shanks is not just a swordsman. He's a pirate at the end of the day. Swordsmanship is a very important part of his repertoire as a pirate. But at the end of the day, he's a pirate, and I feel like this chapter, if anything, instead of debunking the idea that, instead of confirming the idea that they're swordsmen and that's it, that's how they fight, that's it, we watched a montage of Rocks doing a bunch of different shit to win these Davey back fights between boxing and I know everybody, we've never seen Shanks box. Let's stop trying to be so reductionist for the sake of pushing the agenda, bro. Because that's what annoying. You can say I'm doing the opposite by imagining Shanks doing this and that, but I feel like somebody that grew up with Goldie Roger. Yes, swordsmanship is a very important part of his core, but it's not who he is. It's like a box that y'all are trying to force everyone to be and to only be that. And then it comes to that corny, pure swordsman argument and pure this. I just hit my microphone. I hope that wasn't loud. But that pure swordsman argument. And it's like, the way y'all are representing it is wrong, but the idea is a thing. If you can't look at Mihawk, Zoro, let's say Odin, and tell that there's a very certain type of discipline and style they have as far as swordsmanship, even to the point where it's more important than them being a pirate, then I think we're reading a different story. Versus I look at Shanks, Roger, Xebec. These dudes are pirates before anything. Yes, they fight with blades. Blades are very integral to their combat and all. But Kaido said it himself, Haki transcends all. He didn't say swordsmanship transcends all. He said Haki transcends all because Haki is the very core essence of these fighters, especially what it seems to be with Roger and Shanks. And like I said, when we stop with the silly arguments of acting like Shanks just it's a conduit or it's like a Haki one. No, bro, he's a swordsman. That's just not all he is. I don't see what's so hard about that to understand, bro. And yes, it's gonna be a million. Show me a panel of Shanks doing this. Show me a panel of Shanks doing that. Okay. I just alluded to a situation where someone was paralyzed from Haki hundreds of miles away. And Navy admiral at that. He was in physical pain. He could not move. That it's literally using Haki to attack someone. If you tell me he grabbed his blade and that's a sword attack, then I'm not taking nothing you say serious. I'm sorry. You're just clearly not a serious person if you're telling me that what Shanks did to Green Bull was a sword attack. In that same vein, what Joy Boy did to the elders is literally nothing but a Haki release. And I feel like we're at the very tip of the mountain. That's not the right phrase there. But we're at the very tip of what... Pause. We're at the very beginning of what we're going to learn of the capabilities of Haki. And I think to try to box in characters like Roger, Xebec, and Shanks to just being swordsman, he's just a swordsman, is a little disingenuous. Now, am I saying that what I'm saying is 100% true and confirmed? No. If it comes out that if anybody is going to be a swordsman out of them three people I named and just that, it would be Shanks. But I just don't see that being the case considering the fact that he grew up on Roger's crew. And I think that once we stop trying to speak in absolutes and stop being so reductionist, that we can have actual, genuine, serious conversations about the nature of swordsmanship. And something might be, I just need a haircut. About the nature of swordsmanship and why it's a little different when it comes to people like Mihawk and Zoro versus guys like Roger, Shanks, and Xebec. It's like a Venn diagram. Swordsmanship and Haki meet in the middle, but there's still a whole different realm on the outskirts of both sides that does not relate to the other at all. Swordsmanship is a skill. Mihawk being the world's strongest swordsman denotes that he is the best in the world at that specific discipline and skill. And yes, he has to have absolute top tier, top 1% of the verse level Haki to be that guy. But that does not mean that Haki itself is a one-to-one. I'm doing a peace sign to do one-to-one. That's crazy. But Haki itself is not one-to-one with swordsmanship. I think two things can be true, bro. Like when we try to box and when we're being reductionist for the sake of pushing the agenda, it's just dishonest from both sides. And like I said, I'm not ruling out the fact that Mihawk can be stronger than Shanks. It would not be a bad take to me. I just think that most of the arguments I see from both sides are very poorly formulated. And if you believe that Shanks is strong, I don't think it's a bad take, especially considering the portrayal, the feats, and his overall impact on the narrative and what we seem to be getting going forward. So yeah, I don't see why this chapter was so massive in the whole Mihawk and Shanks debate. It didn't really move the needle for me, bro. It just, I guess, I mean, the community agenda is going to agenda. I guess that at the end of the day, that's what's going to happen. Shout out to Sam, man. He put the poll up there. The poll was actually a lot closer than I expected. What was it, 63, Shanks 37? Am I doing my math right, Mihawk? Whatever. That's probably closer than it's ever been in the past, but I mean, I can't blame people for watching it, for reading this story and not wanting to just say that, hey, just because he's a better swordsman doesn't mean he's stronger than Shanks. Mihawk. Shanks, yeah. It makes sense. Like, it's not crazy. Once again, let's stop speaking in absolutes and let's stop being reductionists for the sake of pushing the agenda. But that's all I got today. As y'all can see, I'm very clearly out of town from this very orange background. I don't know why my mom painted this room this color. It's not my room, but whatever. But you know, the show goes on and we still want to get some content out. So I appreciate y'all for watching the video. Like and subscribe. We got more stuff coming soon. If I made you mad with these admiral or swordsmanship takes, I really don't care. But if you're willing to be reasonable, we can talk about it in the comments. I'm not against that. Appreciate y'all. Peace out.